Particularly so, the election commissioners have zero understanding. Participative democracy is not in their dictionary at all. And they feel that people are nothing but a herd of sheep to just go and stand in queue, press the button and go home. Because of this fundamental principle of democracy is not being understood. Election commissioners are not understanding. Supreme Court is not understanding. They say no, you have no right. You just do whatever you are asked to do and be a bed bakri. So election commission is being protected by these institutions because the fundamental of democratic governance is institutions. Election commission is institution. So we keep on knocking at the election commission. But they are not even hearing. They are not bothered. They look like a dead entity as if nothing happened. All he did was count 15 votes, 1-5. He was caught by the scruff. Here you can do in millions, and you will not even know.
But when the institution is not open, then what do you do? What is the remedy? What is the solution? Do you throw out Mr. Rajiv Kumar, who's the Chief Election Commissioner? Do you disband the entire Election Commission? Do you put locks outside the Election Commission?
See, the way Election Commission is functioning now, it has become functus officio, non-functional, as good as it does not exist. Here, they don't want to hear, they don't want to, so it's like the three monkeys. They don't want to speak, they don't want to hear, they don't want to see, and they say, you have faith in us. Faith kaise hoga? And then hereafter, they don't implement anything. That is not the issue. It's the institution. Institution is secretive. Institution is opaque. Institution is dishonest. But unfortunately, this particularly institution is being protected.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. Now, a thought becomes a cliche when it is said many times and nothing is acted upon. I'm talking about the concept of electoral democracy in our country, which is almost in tatters. And why I'm using such a strong term is because of the fact that I don't even remember how many times we have done programs on the election commission, which is so biased. An election commission which is bent, an election commission which is almost prostrated and surrendered before the ruling party. Not once, but many times we've said that. But who is actually asking the questions to the election commission? Are the courts doing anything about it? Are the political parties doing anything about it? And is this not something which is quite worrisome? Because electoral democracy, the electoral integrity is actually the cornerstone of any democratic nation. And if you talk about India, this is a concept which is in tatters. And that is why repeatedly I have been doing programs. And today again, I'm going to be talking to a very special guest who belongs to the constitutional group, which was formed by a number of IAS officers. And that group has been working relentlessly on topics like these. I'm joined today by MG Devasahayam, who's a retired IAS officer. He's been the returning officer during the 1977 general elections. He's also an author. So thank you so much for joining on a topic like this. And though this program will sound very cliched, because we've done many programs like this where we've questioned the election commission, we've questioned their processes, but even then, nothing seems to be moving. Why is this so?
That is because there is a fundamentally flawed and wrong understanding of what democracy is. Throughout the entire society in general, political parties in particular, and much more specifically the Election Commission of India, which is charged with the responsibility of conducting the elections don't have the fundamental understanding of what democracy is about. For them, electoral democracy is sitting there in their high pedestal, issuing directions and instructions, coming out with the FAQs and their glossy and beautiful looking brochures and handouts, and giving orders to district officials and other officials who come, and people advertising, and then on the appointed day, people standing like sheep in the queue, go inside the polling booth, press a button and go home. Democracy is over. That is their concept of democracy. Particularly so, the election commissioners have zero understanding. Participative democracy is not in their dictionary at all. And they feel that people are nothing but a herd of sheep to just go and stand in queue, press the button and go home. Whether their vote is recorded as they pressed it, whether it has been cast, it has been recorded, whether it has been counted, it's not their concern at all. They can ask no question. They are nobody. Because the fundamental principles of democracy, that citizen is a sovereign, is an anathema for these characters. In a democracy, in a democracy like India, every democracy, citizen is a sovereign. And the exercise of voting is transfer of sovereignty. Let's understand it very clearly. I have told that earlier also, but nobody seemed to bother about this. Voting is a transfer of, see, ordinary people, the man in the farm, the man in the factory, the person in the office, the woman at home, they are all sovereign citizens. They have the power of the sovereignty with them. But once in 5 years, they transfer their sovereignty to their elected representatives, whether it is for assembly elections or parliament elections. Particularly parliament elections, sovereignty is much more stronger. There is a parliament which enacts the laws, everything, and most of the acts and all. So, when the sovereignty is being transferred, the sovereign should know basic fundamental principles. The sovereign should know that her vote has been cast as intended, recorded as cast, and counted as recorded. Cardinal fundamental principles. Even the Supreme Court judges who have learned so much of law don't understand this at all. Why we are saying paper ballot? Paper ballot have some administrative problems. We are saying paper ballot is all the three are available. I could see the paper ballot, I could see the name of the candidate, I could see it not once, twice, thrice, put the ballot, these people seal there, put it in a box. In the machine, all the three are absent. And counting is also done in front of the counting agents. Everybody can see what has been casted, look at that and then put it in the tray. No, it's a very, very, very open kind of system. Here, all the voter is expected to do is, on that particular day, stand in a queue, press a button, go. They say it's become very efficient. Who is interested in efficiency? If it is only efficiency, you don't need the dictatorship is very efficient.
Yeah, I mean, you're making some very significant points.
Let me complete. Then you can ask the question. Because of this fundamental principle of democracy is not being understood. Election commissioners are not understanding. Supreme Court is not understanding. They say, no, you have no right. You just do whatever you are asked to do and be a bed bakri. So election commission is being protected by these institutions and political parties. Political parties coming to power are the beneficiaries. So they are not bothered. So the common man can go only through institutions, because the fundamental of democratic governance is institutions. Election Commission is institution. So we keep on knocking at the Election Commission. But they are not even hearing. They are not bothered. They look like a dead entity, as if nothing happens. So that is where this issue keeps on coming again and again and again.
Devasahayam,
Yeah.
Mr. Devasahayam, these questions are very disturbing. When we raise these questions repeatedly, knowing the fact that you have a government which is not going to listen to you, you have courts which are impervious to matters like these. What does one do? And the political parties are also not treating this issue as seriously as they should. What is the way out?
See, the way out is, as I told, the institutional remedy is the only way. So normally these issues should have been resolved by the Election Commission. They used to do that in earlier times. They used to do that. The Election Commission used to be quite responsible. I have dealt with the Election Commission since 1971, when I conducted my first election as Assistant Returning Officer, then Returning Officer in Assembly Constituency, Parliamentary Constituency, and then after that as observer, as supervisor, various roles. Those days, Election Commission all used to be very responsive, and there was no problem. Those were paper ballot days. Now you made a major transition from paper ballot into electronic voting machines, technology. So it would have been much more. Technology may be very efficient, but it's highly secretive. It can be capable of being manipulated. Paper ballot, they used to be booth capturing and ballot stuffing, yes. But maximum in a matter of 15-20 minutes before they are caught, you can have about 100 votes maximum manipulate. But in EVM, we can manipulate lakhs of votes without anyone even knowing. Whether it is
When you talk about manipulation, Mr. Devasahayam, the moment you or any other person starts talking about the fact that the mandate is being stolen, the election is manipulated, then the first and the foremost question which comes to the mind is, where is the evidence? Can you produce any evidence?
You can't do. You can do without letting the people know. That's the beauty. In paper ballot, you try and do that, you'll be caught red-handed. You know that piddly thing that fellow did, that Chandigarh chap.
Yes.
All he did was count 15 votes, 1-5. He was caught. Caught by the scruff. Here you can do in millions, and you will not even know. The second also, the manipulation can be done somewhere from anywhere in the planet. You need not be within India. Somebody sitting in some far-off country can do the manipulation. That's the power of technology. That's why I said too much of technology is not good for elections. Because then it totally takes away the democracy principles. This is the point we are trying to make. We are not against technology. We are not against machines. Machines are good. Machines have completely revolutionized the economy and the society. But here, and then they feel, okay, हो गया, भरोसा रखो, भरोसा रखने के लिए to have faith and confidence and trust in an institution, that institution should be open.
But when the institution is not open, then what do you do? What is the remedy? What is the solution? Do you throw out Mr. Rajiv Kumar, who's the Chief Election Commissioner? Do you disband the entire Election Commission? Do you put locks outside the Election Commission?
See, the way Election Commission is functioning now, it has become functus officio, non-functional, as good as it does not exist. See, the question is, an Election Commission for a robust the democracy like India should be vibrant, people-friendly, always interacting with the people, taking ideas, whether it is okay or not, doesn't matter. At least you must hear them. You see, in administration, all these three fellows are IAS officers. One of the first principles that we are taught in the academy.
Rajiv Kumar, what he said when the day the Delhi was going to polls, during the Lok Sabha elections, he said that, there are people who are, seeding these doubts into the minds of the people. Now, you have a chief election commissioner who is not ready to face the people who have doubts in their mind. They are saying that, democracy, you should not have any place for doubts, and especially doubting the election commission. It's a sin.
That's what I'm saying. If you don't want you to be doubted, you must be open and you must be open-minded. That's what I'm saying. He calls himself an IAS officer. First thing that we are taught in the academy is, as an administrator, you must hear it out. An ordinary citizen comes to you with a grievance, even hearing that solves half his problem. He says, "Saab ne to sun liya, collector saab ne to sun liya." Both ho gaya. Even if we don't do anything. See, the fellow comes, even may not be a serious problem, but for him it is a serious problem. But for the district collector, it is not a serious problem. But the very fact, wherever I was posted, whenever I was district collector, I always said, there used to put a board. Collector साहब को मिलने के लिए 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. throw it out. Anybody can see me from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. till the time I'm in the office. Anytime. If I'm in the meeting, you can ask them to wait. So that is how you say, at least you heard the fellow. The moment you hear the fellow, half the solution is done. Here, they don't want to hear, they don't want to, so it's like the 3 monkeys. They don't want to speak, they don't want to hear, they don't want to see, and they say, you have faith in us. Faith kaise hoga? And then hereafter, they don't implement anything. Model code of conduct लिख के रखा हुआ है, बिल्कुल implement नहीं करना. बहुत बड़ा लंबा चौड़ा. They have this big, what do you call that?
Do you extend punitive measures to people like Rajiv Kumar or the other election commissioners when they are just defunct? They've stopped operating, they've stopped functioning, they've stopped responding. How does one move then?
It is not Rajiv Kumar. Let us not mention names. He is only an individual. He has got 6-year tenure. After that, he will not be there. One more Kumar will come. That is not the issue. It's the institution. Institution is secretive. Institution is opaque. Institution is dishonest. But unfortunately, this particularly institution is being protected by the Supreme Court, protected by the government, protected by the media, your mainstream media. They are being protected. They are not asking questions. See, as an individual, even me with my background, I have limited capacity to ask questions. You have given me a forum, I am asking questions. Otherwise, who is bothered? I can't even ask questions. At least the question I am asking now will go to a few thousand people. Okay. But vast majority of the people don't even have the forum for asking questions. So the question is that an institution must be answerable to the people. हमारा ऊपर भरोसा रखो, हमारा ऊपर भरोसा रखो, trust us, trust what? And then you do fraud. I have to trust you. See, that is where the question is. It's not Rajkumar or ABCD. I will not mention any names. We are sad about the institutional decay and degeneration. That's the point we are trying to make. And the election commission is not. And this is a new phenomenon. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, sir. But if we go on repeatedly talking about these issues in interviews, that is also not helping the cause at all. You have political parties who've just they are not ready to hear. Election Commission, of course, you yourself said that it's almost defunct and it doesn't function at all. They've closed the doors. They are not ready to respond. So what does one do? And the courts will also not intervene to that level because they will say that Election Commission is a constitutional authority. Why should we intervene? Beyond a point, even they will not do.
You have got an important point. That's what I opened up and I said, the understanding of democracy is deeply flawed. Our political parties also don't understand what is democracy. Though they say they are doing, हम democracy को defend कर रहे हैं, हम ये कर रहे हैं, हम कर रहे हैं, constitution को, they are defending nothing. For them, democracy means only enjoying power. eating the fruits, and that to low-hanging fruits, not even high-hanging fruits, and enjoy life. If you don't get it, wait for the next term. They are not understood the concept of mandate of the people. And election is expression of the mandate of the people, of the policies of the political parties, and who should form the government. That unless it is expressed in a honest way, if that mandate is stolen, without anyone understanding how it is being stolen, then the whole purpose of democracy is gone.
Allow me to interrupt you. Allow me to interrupt you. You were talking about the mandate. Now, do you think that there is a pattern now, the way the mandate is being stolen, whether we talk about 2024 general elections, whether we talk about Haryana, or now the forthcoming Maharashtra and the general elections? Is there a pattern now for stealing the mandate and stealing brazenly?
As one who has been associated in this activity for a very long time, directly, indirectly, then again directly through civil society, the answer unfortunately is yes. A pattern has been adopted. I will tell you why. See, they brought in technology. They brought in EVM. The first election where EVM was introduced, this is a very important point I am making. When the EVM was introduced was in 2004. I was not very active with the Election Commission before that. But when 2004 EVM was introduced at the large scale of the entire country, parliament was conducted by EVM, I had my own doubt. The same democracy principles. Then EVM, how is it possible that you can't have these kind of democracy principles? I said the voters' knowledge, voters. So I wrote to the Chief Election Commissioner. I am not a technical man. T.S. Krishnamurthy was the Chief Election Commissioner at the time. And I wrote to him saying that these are my concerns. I have serious doubts about the integrity of the EVM, and will you please? Now, within 2 weeks, he wrote a detailed letter to me saying that, Mr. Devasahayam, we have analyzed all this, we have gone to that, we got a high-level technical committee. That time, if I remember, Mr. Indiresan, Professor Indiresan, Director IIT Madras, was the chairman of the technical committee. He said, we have this technical committee, and they have gone into all this, and they said, EVM has got a lot of advantages. Maybe there are some disadvantages, but let us try it out. We will see. So I don't think there is a cause of concern. And even if there is cause of concern, that will be taken care of by our technical experts. Since I was not a technical man, I said, all right. Because I had faith in the Election Commission at that time. I had trust in Krishnamurthy and the technical team. Because they were open. So I left it at that. After that, I did not raise the EVM issue. EVM issue was raised by the BJP after 2009 election, headed by Mr. Advani himself and Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, Narasimha Rao, who is now member of parliament. They made a big show. They brought experts from all over the country and wrote books, wrote articles, wrote demonstrations, this, that, and then they made a big issue. Subramaniam Swamy went to the Delhi High Court. Delhi High Court expressed doubt on the EVM. The order is still there, but they did not give any relief. So Subramaniam Swamy went to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court issued notice to the Election Commission of India. And that time, another very good friend of mine was the Chief Election Commissioner, Qureshi, a gentle soul, and he was a sincere fellow. He said, we'll find a solution. So he discussed with the technical people, and they said, no, this EVM, VVPAT like we'll bring this voter verifiable paper audit trail, which will take care of concerns of people like Devasahayam, Subramaniam Swamy, and all this, so that the voter will see that for 7 seconds the symbol and the name of the candidate to whom she has voted, and will count the paper slips also. So in 2013 this was brought in, and 2013 they also passed a rule They amended the conduct of election rules, making paper slip as superseding the EVM. Now there are two votes, one in the mayoral. So it said in the event of a discrepancy between these two, it is the paper slip that will prevail. Meaning thereby, paper slip is the one that needs to be counted. And Supreme Court, based on these assurances, gave a detailed order. But Supreme Court can't write everything in the order, no. They said paper verifiability and auditability is very, very important. Paper trail must be brought in and must be fully implemented. Order was given. Qureshi retired. After that came Sampath. These are all very good commissioners. And the fraud started sometime in 2017, 2018. VVPAT mein fraud hua. Agar VVPAT has been genuinely implemented, this problem would not have arisen at all. Because I was directly involved throughout the process, I am telling you. Agar VVPAT has been implemented the way it was to be implemented, a paper slip was to be counted and statistical formula. We had consulted top statistical experts in the country, top. And they said minimum 30% must be counted. Minimum.
No, I recently had interviewed a few counting agents from Haryana on various platforms, and one of them said that there was no counting of the VVPAT, not even a.
Please give me a couple of minutes. This is very important. I am giving some details. Okay, so the top experts, they said minimum 30% only. Then you will find out, because the election commission was claiming accuracy of 99%. If you are claiming accuracy of 99%, you got to count at least 30% cross verification. Instead, in 2018, in February, the Chief Election Commissioner, if I remember, Jyoti of Gujarat cadre, he gave instructions that you will count only one EVM in assembly constituency. Just one booth. In an assembly constituency of 250, 300. Completely made it into a joke, meaning thereby they want to sabotage the VVPAT. They want to sabotage the Supreme Court orders. They did not listen. After that, Rawat took over. For about near he was Chief Election Commission 2018. We interacted with the Chief Election Commission, the Constitutional Conduct Group, which you mentioned. Since I was not in Delhi, my colleagues, headed by Wajahat Habibullah, former Chief Information Commissioner, they used to interact, and they were finding a solution. We used to interact. 2-3 meetings we had in Delhi, in Bangalore. Technical experts were involved, and everyone was there. And then they were about to find a solution when Rawat retired. Now I have to tell these things because democracy is there's a big stake in this country. Rawat had a positive attitude. December 2018, he retired. After that, let me tell you, Election Commission was hermetically sealed. Since 2018, Election Commission has been completely sealed. Nobody could approach them. No letter they will either receive, even if receive, they will throw it out. No email, no telephone call, no meeting, no discussion. Our own Constitutional Conduct Group has been requesting for meetings repeatedly, writing to the Election Commission repeatedly. I mean, a group of about 200 IAS officers who have conducted elections. No response. So they say, Bharosa rakho, doubt raise kar rahe. See, because of all these, then 2019, let me complete the story. 2019, we found, because of all this behavior of the Election Commission of India, we had our own doubts. So as soon as the election was over, we wrote to the Election Commission of India, the election was not free and fair. Kuch hera-pheri hua hai, kuch gadbad hua hai. They did not respond. Actually, ADR, Professor Jagdeep Chokar and his colleagues, they went to the Supreme Court. Discrepancy of votes polled and votes counted in about more than 300 constituencies. No reply. And we then set up a Citizens Commission on Election, headed by a former Supreme Court judge, top technical experts. They come out with a report, categorical report. Because of lack of verifiability and auditability, the way it is being done now, VVPAT is not being properly implemented. India's EVM voting system is unfit for democratic elections. It is there in black and white, even now. International experts, some of the top brains in the world. This report was sent to the Election Commission. They did not even respond. They did not even call these experts. These experts were way, by the time the technical committee has changed, some new fellows have come. They have their own vested interest. No one knows. And now the problem is, even no one knows who is manufacturing the EVMs. They say it is the BEL and the ECI. We have our doubt. Because both these companies are completely taken over by the BJP. All the directors, board of directors are BJP people. And they don't respond to any RT questions. No, they don't respond. And even if they respond, it contradicts each other. So now the situation has come, we don't even know who is manufacturing. These people may be assembling and marketing, but we don't know who are manufacturing the critical components. We don't know. And what is inside, because they never open up the machines and show to anybody. And they will never show the source code. किसको भरोसा करेंगे भाई? किसको भरोसा करेंगे? What भरोसा? I'm sorry being using harsh words. The Election Commission is becoming a fraudulent organization. So the problem is that we have no problem with any individual. I am not talking anything about Rajkumar. I think he started even before he came into the Election Commission. The Bimari started 2011 when he came, but the actual Bimari started in 2017, 2018, and continued 2019, then 2024. 24 after the election is over, the Vote for Democracy group sat and came and crunched the numbers issued by the Election Commission itself. हमने तो numbers invent नहीं किया. We never invented any numbers. The percentage was given by them, and based on the percentage, see, there also they say, look at the fraud they do. The report Election Commission gets, they get absolute numbers. After the polling is over, at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the night,
Oh, but why are the political parties not understanding the sensitivity of this, having a free, fair election? And can this not be an election issue? Because the entire election is conducted through an institution. And if that institution is biased, it has closed its doors. And what is the use of elections in the country? You have asked a very, very important question. Political parties, we got two spectrum. One is the ruling spectrum. The other is the opposition spectrum. In 2014 and 2019 election, the opposition spectrum was very weak. They did not have the capacity to raise questions, in spite of the fact that we have been telling them. 2020, the Citizens Commission on Election, we have been keeping the political parties informed ever since 2020. But they did not have the capacity. In 2024, the civil society made a big noise. You are aware of it. Big noise before, during the election. And because of that, opposition gained ground. Then now we have fairly good number of opposition members of parliament, around 240. Now, unfortunately, they are not taking up the issue because they are not, political parties are not democratic institutions. That's a tragedy. India is suffering from double whammy, triple whammy. Political parties are also not democratic institutions. They are not interested in democracy. For them, election is a lottery. Look at the ease with which they are indulging in the kind of, party, changing of party defection. Morning in one party, noon in another party, evening in another party, go and they get parliament ticket, they contest ticket, they become minister. I mean, is there any difference between the ruling party and opposition party? No, but what do you want the opposition parties to do? Should they be boycotting the elections? What is the way out?
There's nothing to boycott. It's an act of cowardice. You fight. Democracy, you fight. See, they have been given the mandate. See, now
But there are certain other issues which they have to raise, whether it is the economic oppression, they are talking about corporates, how they are involved with the ruling parties. There are several other issues which are being raised. Caste census, reservations.
You can't become a wailing. You keep on wailing. You have to act decisively. People's mandate is what that matters. You keep on wailing, complaining. We call in Tamil to opari. Okay, keep on wailing. They all become wailers. They are not fighters. See, in a democracy, I don't know whether you have read what Amartya Sen has written several years ago.
Yeah.
But for democracy, half of India would have died of famine and hunger because their voice would not be heard. Only democracy, the election gives them the voice. So election should be strong enough and sound enough. All the issues being raised by the leader of the opposition issues are there, but they are secondary issues. Primary issues is the mandate of the people. If the mandate of the people prevails, let's say, I will give an example. He is talking about OBCs and scheduled castes and others. If their mandate is prevailing, if they vote as per their numbers without being defrauded, how dare a ruling party will deny what they...
How do the opposition parties protest?
How dare they concentrate all economic power with some few individuals? See, Rahul Gandhi is making a big issue out of it. I am a student of economics. I am closely studying I know how monopolies are being created, oligopolies created. I entirely agree with him. Whatever Rahul Gandhi says on monopoly and oligopoly is 100% true. But how dare a country run on democracy principles do it if the mandate is going to prevail? So, the ruling party, ruling government is not afraid of the mandate because they can manipulate the mandate. So they are afraid of the oligarchs because they get their money from them. So if the mandate prevails and if they are afraid that the OBC or the scheduled caste or the scheduled tribe people will not agree to the policies being, for instance, this forest, the mineral wealth in some of these mineral rich states. And they're just giving it just to these big oligarchs. So they can take it and go away. And do you think tribal fellows will stand there and vote for them? Because tribal votes have been manipulated. I say, their candidate will win. See, that's the example I'm giving you. There is a tribal district, tribal constituency, where tribal forest wealth is being completely, looted. And in the same by the ruling party. And every people know about it. But in the same constituency, the ruling party people win. They can win. They say, they got people have endorsed. People have endorsed. See, you have to go into these matters in great detail. Just taking an open statement saying that oligarchy ho raha hai, everyone knows oligarchy ho raha hai. India is not the only country where there is oligarchy. So the point is, people's man, see, country like India particularly, rich countries, I am not talking about. For us, democracy is bread and butter. Don't be under the wrong impression that democracy is a luxury. It is a necessity. I entirely agree with Amartya Sen. But for democracy, half the population would have died. So, opposition party, my appeal to the opposition party is, now that you are strong, you got 240 people, our electoral system calls for a full review. EVM is only one aspect. There are other aspects. There are reports. There are people who are willing to help. People have gone into that. See, let me tell you my own personal experience. Because of the terror let loose by this government, the academic institutions are scared of doing any research on the electoral system. I had a personal experience. I don't want to mention the name of the university. Very well-known university. They were doing a project with us, Constitutional Content Group. Continuation of the 2020, this is a very important point I'm making. 2020 CC, we brought out a report and we brought out a book also. Because that was a practical kind of thing, because we are all practitioners. We wanted that to go through the academic rigor. I was the person who was championing this in the group. They said, then we talked to a very leading academic institution. They looked at it, they said, yes, we must do it. We went ahead. MOU was drafted. MOU was drafted, sir, madam. And after the MOU was drafted, news leaked out because we had to discuss with faculty and students and others. News leaked out and university backed out because university was threatened.
Right.
That's not the only university. There are 2 universities. I don't know.
Okay, so right, all right. So, but so towards the end, and this is the last question I'm asking: that what do you think is a solution for all this? I mean, protesting for electoral democracy, is that the solution? That the opposition parties go amongst the people, they talk about it, that how the mandates are being stolen, they will boycott elections. What is the solution to this problem?
To the solution at this point of time is not hitting the street is the final option, which we don't have. People will, as the flashpoint comes, people will hit the streets. Across the world that has happened. But we still have belief in the institutions. Election Commission has collapsed as an institution. The other institution that can bring in some discipline to the Election Commission is the Supreme Court. Supreme Court is also completely swayed by Election Commission. They don't want to say anything to the Election Commission. Whatever Election Commission to them is Bible, and they will endorse, protected. Media doesn't want to say anything because media is completely captured. As they call it, Godi media, captured media, or whether I don't want to use harsh words. Mercenary, that's a very harsh word. I don't want to use it. The only institution which is now have some hope is the parliament, because recently we elected the parliament. 4 महीने पहले elect किया था. That has the mandate of the people, at least large number of people. It is this parliament and it is the opposition parties, particularly the principal opposition party and the leader of the opposition, to take it up as issue number 1. Bring it to the parliament, go for a full-scale discussion, debate, review of the entire electoral machinery, review of the election commission, and election commissioner's selection process. The selection process for election commissioners was totally different, as it was discussed in the Constitutional Assembly. Parliament was supposed to elect. Parliament was supposed to form a committee.
Devasahayam, let's talk practical. If supposing opposition parties, you're saying that let's have a parliament discussion on this electoral democracy, how the institutions have collapsed. Do you think that the government will be ready? The opposition will waste an entire session, and I don't know how many sessions will be wasted. Do you think that the government will be ready for a discussion?
Then that happened, the people come into the picture. See, the final arbiter is the people of India. If they come to the streets, as I told you, after 140 crores, if 1 crore come to the street, nobody can stop them. See, that you can't create the situation. That is the last resort. You think people will not come? They have come earlier. They want freedom for India. They have come earlier. They have defeated emergency. Do you think they will not come?
So which means that you need a totally new kind of an awakening if you have to fight the electoral fraud in India.
Yeah, it is. It is for them. It's for each and every. That's why I said the citizen is sovereign. It's everybody's problem. It's a problem of the richest of the rich, poorest of the poor, the most ordinary. 1 vote, universal franchise. So it is a common problem. People should not take it lightly, because if democracy goes, everything else goes.
Right.
Log samajhte hain democracy is a luxury. Democracy is not luxury. It is an essential necessity.
Thank you so much, Mr. Devasahayam, for sharing your thoughts. And indeed, they were very significant points which you made. And we'll have to wait and watch how things unfold as far as the Election Commission is concerned, its attitude is concerned, its openness or opacity, I may call, is concerned. Thank you so much once again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Stay ahead with our cutting-edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.